Welcome,
Ahmed, I love
welcome.
it. How are you?
I am good. A lot
All
going
right,
on.
let's get right to it.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to release? Will these files ever be released? I, there's some shenanigans going on, especially with this Southern District of New York or SDNY investigation. Here's what I think, Ahmed. You can tell me what you think, but I think that they're going to use this investigation to say we cannot release any information while while there's an ongoing investigation, which is the reason why they didn't come out during the Biden years, because there was an actual ongoing investigation with Ghislaine Maxwell, and then her being found guilty, and then her appeal.
Yep.
So that's why they weren't released. Those reportedly were not released because of that. And now I don't think they're going to be released. And the Trump administration is going to use the exact same excuse or reason. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the meat or the heart of the matter.
No, I think you're right. I think that seems to be what they're intending to do. I mean, that timing of that announcement of this new investigation about only Democrats, apparently, because they're the only ones that were in these files, according to the DOJ. They want to use this as a smokescreen to say, hey, we are now no longer going to release these files because an active, ongoing investigation is being done, and we don't want to compromise that investigation. It seems like that's what they might attempt to do. Because I think in the bill, there was some language in there that anything that potentially compromises, victims or an active investigation could be withheld or restricted. So it seems like that timing of that investigation now makes total sense, that maybe they were planning that capitulation from Trump, and then they're going to use this to restrict certain files, maybe of the more damning kind for Trump.
Do you think they'll get away with that, Ahmed?
I don't think they'll get away from it from the people. I think the people will hold them accountable for it. It depends what happens after that. I think, like, if they release these files, we're going to get them within 30 days, according to the law. So I guess before the week of Christmas, I wonder if well, wait to the tail end. But it just depends, man. I mean, I think they might try to redact certain things, and then I guess Congress could push them again. But I really don't know. I think this investigation is a sham, and they might try to shroud it, man.
I excuse me. I watched that press conference with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Does Kash Patel ever talk, or does he just stand there like this?
Look in multiple directions at the same time.
This has never been more appropriate, where I don't have to say it. It's just a saying that old people would say. Old people, because old people be knowing. Looking wise and otherwise.
Exactly.
Have you ever heard of that?
No, that's what I think.
See them there looking wise and otherwise, because he's looking wise and he's looking otherwise. So hilarious. With Todd Blanche, right? Is that his name? Yes.
Yeah.
And with Todd Blanche. And she basically, like a robot, Ahmed, repeating the same line. We're going to follow the law. We want all victims to come forward. And then at the end, she throws in there's new information. And then all the folks who are outside of the Justice Department, their talking point is, I trust the Justice Department to do what is lawful, and all the victims should come forward. So they have their script in all of this. And by the way, hit the like, the thumbs up, the hearts, and make sure you follow us. It's important. So thank you very much. More people become aware of our conversation and our channels. That's what we do out here in independent media, independent journalism. So they've got the talking points, and they're going to stick to them. And they're just going to say, we're doing what the law actually allows us to do.
Yeah, it seems like that could be the case. It depends. I really do think.
Did she seem like a robot to you?
She seemed even more robotic than usual. It seemed like she was really trying to walk a line there, and it makes clear that investigation was probably announced as a pretext to hide this stuff. So we're going to see what they end up redacting. But I think in the law it said they have to provide explanations for each redaction. So I don't know how detailed those explanations have to be. Like, again, I think the law was kind of vague enough where they might end up just redacting anything with Donald's name in it and being like, we're protecting victims. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, I think, like, I was watching your show a little bit earlier, I think the damage is done. I really think what's been released and what's been happening is damning enough, man.
Yeah, and that was my next question. Why are we even here at this point when you look at the files and you see the evidence, because he's in there more than 1,000 times now. There are more files to be released. And who knows what's in there, but also there was, I don't know if you heard about the Michael Wolff reported on the safe thing, that Donald Trump went into a safe, this is according to Michael Wolff, and showed him pictures of
Oh
Donald
yeah.
Trump with young girls and with the stain on his pants, and they were laughing, and he pulled it out of a safe, and he said he showed him these things several times. And then he said Jeffrey Epstein's home was raided, and they took the contents of the safe.
Mhm.
So where are all these photographs? Where are these pictures?
They're probably in the DOJ files. And that's probably what might, like, and that's another thing. I think we might end up seeing more stuff coming from other places, not just the DOJ. Like, remember the lawyer for the survivors was like, they have a list of their own, of a client list, right? That these survivors also have their own stories, and they've been restricting. And now after this law has been passed, maybe we might see more information. For example, from the estate itself, all of these emails that they released, like, it came from them. It came from the estate, not the DOJ. Do they have more information that we don't know about? Will they release that after? I think Democrats should continue to hunt down these other leads to try to buffer, because I think that the info we got from these emails, the combination of Trump definitely knew, of course he knew about the girls, dog that didn't bark. There's all this information indicating that Trump knew about all the abuse. So we need to see that information from the DOJ. What does the DOJ know? Did they have any contact with Trump? Did they ever question Trump? There was remember those rumblings? Remember that, like, one trial balloon for 1 week? Some of his people went on Fox News, or Mike Johnson even said it, that Trump was an informant, right? We never heard of that again. They dropped it immediately. Where did that come from?
He took it back. He took it back.
Took it back immediately.
Where did that come from, though?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, when did that come from? Had Trump ever contacted the FBI before? Did he know about the abuse in real time? And if he did know about it and then communicated it immediately, that would actually be pretty positive for him. But I don't think that's what happened. Otherwise, they would have released that information immediately. I think he knew about it and didn't say anything. That's what I'm getting from the way this is all being handled.
I just wonder how much longer that they can look. If I don't know if you saw the most recent thing where they're trying to tie Hakeem Jeffries with some meeting and Barack Obama, and it's like, so you believe that, which is a mention in the thing, and it has no clear connection to Hakeem Jeffries or Barack Obama. It was like some third party saying there is a dinner or something that you can attend, and they both might be there. And so they're trying to make that a big deal. And that's one time. Donald Trump is in there 1,000 times at least, if not more, and they cannot somehow wrap their heads around the whole birds of a feather flock together. Why are you in there that many times? Imagine if Barack Obama was in there twice, 3 times. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if it was a Democrat in there in those files. Look at what they're saying about Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton is not even the president. So what is this crazy cognitive dissonance that they can't wrap their heads around the possibility that Donald Trump diddled someone he shouldn't be? Because he's definitely diddled people before that he shouldn't be diddling.
Well, yeah. He was held liable for sexual abuse in court. People forget that.
Oh, no, I'm talking not that. I'm talking about Stormy Daniels.
Oh, yeah. There's other things too. Yeah. No, of course. Yeah. So there's so much. We literally could name, we had multiple examples at the same time. But yeah, I mean, to your point, I think he's got them in this cycle of defending increasingly horrible things since he entered politics. And there's this reflexive nature of just deflect. You see it in the right-wing media. I just published an article on it. They literally ignored the entire Epstein survivor press conference in its entirety on the morning of the vote. And on Sunday, there was a release of this PSA from the advisors. And I looked at this analysis. 0 right-wing media organizations covered that PSA that was released on Sunday. So it's like, literally, they're creating a different reality for their viewers. And like you're saying, they're focused on the Hakeem Jeffries, the Stacey Plaskett thing. You seen that with those text messages? I was watching Fox News. They did a whole segment on it.
And yet, look at that.
I mean, I think it's probably a bad idea to be texting Jeffrey Epstein, period. But the way she framed it on CNN was like, she's a prosecutor. She talks to scumbags all the time. And she was getting information that she thought, from a former Trump ally in a hearing about Trump corruption. So I wouldn't have done it personally, but I see, I don't see it. It's not like she was texting him like, hey, let's hang out. She was getting
Yeah.
information that was damning about Trump. So,
Yeah.
that's a little different.
But you said they're creating an ecosystem for their viewers. What were you? I cut you off.
Yeah, they're creating an alternate reality. They're basically by the omission of the stories that they're choosing to omit and choosing not to cover, they're creating an environment in which Trump is being just attacked. Like last week, I was watching Fox News very closely. They were not covering the key revelations and spending a lot of time on it. They were deflecting. They were broadly speaking about it, but they were not talking about the specificity of what we covered in our last live. And I think and they're trying to do that to gaslight their viewers. But again, like we've talked about, man, it's not working. The MAGA cracks are showing, and people don't want to be lied to.
You know what people also want to know? They want to know if Trump blew Bubba.
This has been my favorite part of the whole. You've seen the memes? You've seen the memes?
How do you live that? How does somebody live that down? How does Donald Trump live that down? Did he blow Bubba? And was Bubba Bill Clinton? And then Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, came out and said, no, Bubba wasn't Bill Clinton. But I mean, how are we to know?
We just asking questions, right? Like I saw Van, yeah, like that's the logic they use to believe whatever bullshit they believe, right? And it's funny because it's like it's like becoming conventional wisdom, just like the JD Vance couch thing. Like we knew the JD Vance like couch thing wasn't real, right? But like it was funny and it became a conventional wisdom. But this, when you say you don't know, we don't know.
I'm just asking questions.
Just asking questions. We don't have the facts. We don't know for sure whether there was a couch some relations that are going on there. But yeah, man, I actually just think that has been hilarious. The memes have been killing me. The TikTok stuff has been absolutely next level. There's people making AI songs about it. Like, it's the best. And it's sticking.
My favorite one is, I mean, I've seen the Kill Bill, instead of Kill Bill, the Quentin Tarantino movie, Uma Thurman in the yellow jumpsuit, and they have Donald Trump in the yellow jumpsuit, and it says Blow Bill. Hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
So that one's good. But my favorite, I think, is Bill Clinton is sitting at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, and it's just him sitting there, and they say, check out this picture of Donald Trump and Bill Clinton.
Oh man. Oh, Jesus Christ. It is too funny. It is too funny. I mean, hey. I mean, apparently wasn't the context that Putin had it? I think the email said something like Putin had it's just too funny. It's great.
What?
I think Putin had the footage of it or something. That's what I saw in the email, or maybe people were just, joking around. I don't know, but it's fun. It's fun because you know what? Like this is more evidence to back this than a lot of the conspiracy theories I see on the right. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I get tired of people saying we have no evidence that Donald Trump did. We have no evidence. But we don't have any evidence otherwise either until we see all of it. So what are we left to logically surmise that happened? What are we left to? Because if you want to, all of a sudden you're for it and then you don't want to release. So I think that everyone is so overly cautious about this. And I guess they have to be because he's so litigious and the government doesn't run out of money.
Exactly, yeah.
But still, when you're in a court of law, logically, I'm not an attorney, but the jury and jurors are not usually legal people, right? They're everyday citizens, a jury of your peers, and so they're not usually that abreast with lawyerly stuff. And so if you're in let's just say you're on a jury for this case, what would you be left to believe just from the circumstantial evidence? Where would your mind take you, Ahmed?
And that's your mind all the evidence points towards Donald Trump being involved in potentially nefarious activity, right? And it's like, because if I was the defense, if I was Trump, I would be begging for these files to be released if I was innocent, because all the other circumstantial evidence is negative. All the other evidence we've seen with these emails points towards him knowing about the girls, dog not barking. So he adds information from Epstein literally trafficking Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago in 2000, and then Trump complaining about that, saying that was the reason why he cut ties, but then for years praising him afterwards and saying Epstein loved young girls. All evidence indicates that Trump knew what was going on at the very least. So if I was Trump and I was a genuinely innocent man, I would have, the second I was sworn into office, January 20th, one of those hundreds of executive orders, I'm releasing the Epstein files to prove I'm innocent. So the way he's been behaving has been one of the biggest suspicious factors. And if I was a juror, and I saw the defense, the guy's sitting there tweaking, I'm thinking this guy's guilty until I see that the evidence proving he's innocent, to be honest.
If you were, let's just say you were, I don't know if it would be, I like the original Law and Order.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, but this is more of an SVU, right? So let's just, I know that Jack McCoy is not necessarily an SVU. He's in the original Law and Order. So can you imagine a trial with Jack McCoy and he is, he's the one who's prosecuting Donald Trump. And it's his closing statement. All he would have to do is say, jury, Donald Trump, I could stand here all day and we would go into tomorrow and the next day for the number of times that Donald Trump has been mentioned, if I read them off singularly in the Epstein files. This is what he said about young girls. This is what he said. This is what the files in the email say about him spending time with young girls. This is what this email says. This is what this says. He has said that Jeffrey Epstein, his words, is a good guy and he has lots in common with him, where you both like women and he likes them on the younger side. And then you presented that to the jury and say, are we supposed to believe what Donald Trump is saying and what this lawyer is saying, that we're not supposed to believe our own eyes and our own ears when the evidence is right in front of our face? No matter what they tell you, you are not crazy. You are not stupid. Your eyes do work. Your ears work. So when you go back into that jury room, take this into consideration. You know when people are lying to you. And this is about the evidence, and the evidence shows that Donald Trump has something to hide.
Well said, man.
Boom. Comes back. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Let me see it. Okay, great. Will the defendant please rise?
I mean,
in the above entitled case, under the charges of such and such and such and such, we find Donald Trump guilty.
I mean,
I believe that's how that episode would go.
Yeah.
And then Jack McCoy would go, and Donald Trump and his lawyer would go,
you got me,
And then they'd be back in the room for, whoever, and they'd be talking about it. Well, I didn't think that would happen, but to get someone who's president of the United States, don't often win. Let's take this win and move on. What do you think?
Someone in the comments said, "Don't tease me, Donald." And you were given like some, you're straight up preaching right here, and that's like the fantasy people have that we were hoping to see with so many of these cases. But the thing is, yes, I think that's how it would go, because I think it's undeniable that Trump has something to hide. I think at the very least, we can definitively say that he has something to hide and he's behaving like he has something to hide. And we know, I think with almost certainty, that he knew about Jeffrey Epstein's abuse. At the very least, top layer, we have, of course, that previous 13-year-old girl that, I think an anonymous person that made accusations against Trump and then later dropped it or whatever. But other than, absent of a modern day survivor that is talking about what Trump did, all the other evidence points to him knowing about the abuse at the very least. And then Epstein saying he spent hours with an unnamed victim here. And then the administration tried to claim, it was just Virginia Giuffre. They tried to put a name on that unnamed victim, but Virginia is not alive right now to tell her side of the story. So again, at the very least, we know Trump knew what the likely abuse. He knew that Epstein was trafficking young girls from Mar-a-Lago. Trump's admitted that. He said that in interviews. His story has constantly changed. He's lied He straight up lied about his knowledge of what Epstein was doing. We can say that with certainty. So he has shifting stories. He's lying about what he knew and when he knew it. And then the behavior aftermath, again, sometimes, like you said before, the cover up makes the crime look even worse. And he's been
Yeah.
engaged in an active, defiant, crash out cover up for months. And then now he signed the bill reluctantly. And he's been for the last 24 hours losing his mind on social
Losing
media,
his mind.
crashing
Oh
out.
my gosh, I was just going to tell you, he's losing his mind, and he's calling really on Democrats to be executed.
Yeah, I know.
And it's his political rivals or with his perceived political enemies. But this is my message with that, Ahmed. We should be outraged by it. It should be followed through on it. But media, don't take the bait. He wants you
Yes.
to get off of the Epstein files. He wants to distract you. Do not be distracted. I'll see you next week, my friend.
All right, bro. Good to see you.
Thank you. You too.